Hi, I'm Dee May Series, one of the Becker County Master Gardeners. Today I'd like to talk to you about pollinators. Why all the buzz about pollinators? Why should we care if some bees are missing? They're just bugs anyway. Well, the short answer to that is, if you or anybody you know would care to eat anytime, like ever again, you really need to care about bees and pollinators. About 85% of the world's plants would be unable to reproduce or to produce fruits or seeds or nuts without pollinators. Pollinators are responsible actually for most of the food we eat. And the crops they pollinate, the sources vary in their numbers, but somewhere between $15 and $20 billion annually in crops. And we have changed the environment, we have changed the landscape, and we're contributing to declines in pollinator population. That's why it's so important and it's on the news a lot. A pollinator is any animal that causes plants to make fruits or seeds. What they do is they take the pollen from one part of the plant or the plant to another plant, and that's how plants are pollinated, and that's what makes the fruits and the seeds. People think that honeybees are the big pollinators, and they are an important source. But there are also butterflies are pollinators, hummingbirds, bats, and sometimes some researchers even intimating that mosquitoes might even be pollinators. We think of honeybees as the pollinators, as I said earlier, and honeybees are actually non-native. They came from Europe, but there are native bees in Minnesota. Bumblebees, orchard mason bees, and others. And most native bees don't form like a big colony like we think of a hive. They live as solitary individuals. But native bees are important pollinators. Bees need to have nectar for carbohydrates and pollen for protein. And they need a variety of these sources so that if you have plants that bloom at different times, that's best for the bees. They also need a place to shelter and to lay eggs. Native bees use those untidy spots in your yard, like the brush pile or stumps that you want to clean up and get rid of, but those are really important for native bees. Orchard mason bees actually can be given a home. Native plants are the best source of food for native bees, but there are other garden plants that are great for them as well. The reason native plants are so important is that most of the ornamentals, the hybrids that we have bred, we breed them because of what we like, what humans like, mostly the color or the flower. But the pollinators don't always recognize those as the plants that they know. Butterflies need nectar as adults, but their youngsters, or caterpillar, or larvae as they're called, need a different food source. For butterflies, location, location, location. They need a sheltered from the wind spot that's sunny. If you can give them a large place to rest in the sun, like a sundial or a large rock or a garden ornament, they need to warm up somewhere in the sun so that they can fly. They also need a variety of flowers that bloom throughout the season. And in addition, sometimes butterfly feeders, which have sugar water in them, or other water sources such as mud puddles or a wet sandy area are also needed for butterflies. Butterflies are attracted to a large variety of flowers, and this is a very short list. There are many, many sources where you can find plant lists for butterflies. Early season things like lilac, Dame's rocket, spirea, chokecherry, dogwood. In midsummer, butterflies are attracted by phlox, purple coneflower, thistle, sunflower, milkweed, especially butterfly weed, bee balm. Late season, they like asters, zinnias, and blazing stars. In addition, you need host plants for the larvae, as we mentioned earlier. And those are pretty specific. This parsley worm will turn into a black swallowtail butterfly, and monarchs prefer milkweed. So there are 3 things you can do for pollinators. Limit or don't use insecticides at all. Use local native plants. Choose several colors of flowers planted in clumps. Include flowers of different shapes and have a diversity of plants flowering all season long.